It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What? Yeah. Hey, good kind of people, what is going on? Covering the latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. You, my pretty babies, are checking out a new The RCWR show, dropping this episode for you guys the weekend of October 15th/16th, 2022. We are talking about that good old WOW, Women of Wrestling Fallout, and we got a very special bonus attachment to this week's WOW coverage, which was a damn good solid episode, I must say, especially from a production standpoint, as later on during this very episode, you'll be able to catch my conversation, if you will, with Jessie Jones. Jessie Jones had made herself available for media rounds this week. David Mclean was supposed to be part of it as well, but due to scheduling conflicts, he had to back out, not just with us, but pretty much for any interview that was set up. He had to back out, unfortunately. I was looking forward to that too, by the way, because I still remember when me and Mish had sat down and chatted with him a couple of years back. We had such a great time, and I know he definitely really had loved the conversation he was having with us. He was really eagerly, he was looking forward to doing it again sometime in the near future and everything. So hopefully stars align down the road, and that can definitely happen once again. But still, hey, it doesn't get any better than being able to talk to Jessie Jones. That man, my oh my, to cue one of my favorite stylistic songs, right? Basically, Jessie Jones, my oh my, right? Just being able to kick back and do that. So yeah, I pretty much was interviewing her not just for you guys, the WOW wrestling fans and everything, but I was also doing it as part of my contributor work for the 411 Mania site as well and everything. So definitely during this very episode, much later on, you definitely want to make sure you stick around and check that out. Some of you guys had some questions, some comments here and there, and I definitely was peeping that out for the most part. That actually showed you guys some love, be it you said something over the past couple of weeks during the WOW stream, or maybe you had said something on Facebook in the form of a question or a comment. I definitely did my best. Or maybe you said something in Discord. I definitely did my best to show you guys some love and everything. Hope you guys have been pretty good. Weekend's been very kind to you guys. Hey, man, this was a damn good, solid episode of Wow Women of Wrestling. I mean, we had 4 matches total. Main event match: Penelope Pink taking on. I told you guys she is quickly becoming one of my personal favorites, and I can just see championship material all over this woman, Leah Mccoa. Oh my God, I love that girl. That girl's got one badass, unique look to her, man. And her origin, because we got a nice featurette on her tonight. Man, I gotta tell you something that David Mclean and crew have been able to do a phenomenal job with these past handful of episodes, not just this current season of WoW, but when you go back, you look at the Lost episodes, you look at their run on Access TV, one thing that they have done extremely well is from an emotional context standpoint, be able to help you connect with these superheroes or super villains, if you will. And in the case of Leah Mccoa, definitely not an exception tonight. Her origin, I gotta say, when you're looking at these featurettes and you see what's been happening for this new season, you're going, wow, wow, man, that's heavy. Damn, I connect with that. What? Whoa. And we got 2 featurettes tonight. One was on Mccoa and the other one was on Ice Code. Yeah, both of those were just an emotional roller coaster. And once again, you're in this position where you're going, damn, yo, I just can't help but root you on. I want for you to succeed and everything. But Mccoa's featurette, she talked about how when she was age 12, she had got her first tattoo. And that tattoo, because she had said to, in this little special, this little featurette, she said that she is a Samoan and everything, and her family is Samoan, her parents are Samoan. And so the very first tattoo that she got was at the age of 12. And the tattoo means so much to her because it basically represents the trials, the tribulations, the struggles that her parents went through to get her and them to America to try to have a better life, a better future, and everything. And she also touched upon the fact that when she decided to go into the world of pro wrestling, both of her parents not that keen on it. Mom's, it was pretty much, well, you know, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. I don't really think you're going to thrive in that. I kind of think you're wasting your time in that, but, you know, whatever, do you. Dad, on the other hand, what are you doing? That's a stupid move. There's no money to be made. You're not going to have a career in that. Well, much more critical than Mom was. And you just see Mccoa at one point, she just breaks down in tears over the fact that her parents just were souring over this. And since she's been involved in the sport of professional wrestling, her parents, they've pretty much been watching her stuff from afar, and that they've yet to actually watch her in person do her thing in the ring and everything. So she's hoping that she can make them proud. And I'm now jumping in and saying this next part. I would think she's hoping that while they're still alive, that they will be able to really see her firsthand, see her in a new set of lights and all of that good stuff. Hey, maybe in due time, right? Only time will actually tell on that one. But great featurette that they did on her. We were talking about the featurette that they did on Ice Code. I know we're kind of going a little bit. We're just going with the flow. I think this week it's kind of nice to switch it up. We don't always need to stick to the same format. We can always switch it up. And we got a nice good flow going on here and everything. The featurette that they did on Ice Code, that definitely was a very nice touch, and they were doing a good job. Once again, with these nice featurettes, I like how they set you up properly, give you a great opportunity to be properly introduced to heroes of old, heroes of new. In this case, heroes of new and villains of new. We're really going in on here as you're about to see them in in-ring action. So in the case of Mccoa, she's taking on Penelope Pink in the main event, which we'll talk about later on. And then for Ice Cold and her featurette and everything, she was in a match on this week's episode against Candy Crush. Not talking about the video game. I think we're going to have to keep saying that, at least until everybody knows, yeah, we're not talking about the video game. Ice Cold, man, talk about a lot of emotional scars. Emotional scars, not physical, not so much physical. It's really about the emotional, the mental scarring that she had going on. I mean, just all the stuff that she had going on with her. For instance, she had talked about how her dad died of cancer, and it came right at the point somewhere where she was getting ready to do maybe something with the Olympics, or I kind of lost my train of thought around that period there because I was distracted by my dog and everything. But then she talked about how shortly after that her brother died. Then she talked about how she went into some type of competition. She had tore her Achilles, so she was out for a good minute. And then she had got sexually assaulted by a teammate. And I mean, that last one, that pretty much was just the final straw. That pretty much had gave her serious anxiety. It put her in such a panic. So she's dealing with all of these eternal emotions going on. And man, I tell you what, that really resonated to me on so many levels. And I'm sure that for people that are either hearing this or eventually will see her featurette, if you haven't seen it already, you can definitely tap into exactly what was on display during this vignette. I mean, it connected to me on so many levels from the standpoint of, I'm not going to get into it on any of the shows. I'm definitely not going to go into it on this episode. But man, I had one of the weirdest days that I ever experienced at work this weekend. And it was just mentally, it was just, I almost went to a place I had no business going. And I had to have a heart to heart talk with my wife about it. And she finally just told me, let it out. Just let it out already. Just throw it all out there. Just go unfiltered. Just spill. And I did, and I felt a lot better afterwards and everything. It wasn't so much about work. It was just internally, mentally. It was just the anxiety. There's different levels. We all experience it. We all experience different levels of anxiety. We all experience different levels of depression, of anger, all of that. So this segment in particular, it definitely resonated to me it connected to me on a whole lot of levels there. And I liked hearing about how Ice Cold decided, you know what, I'm not gonna let all of these experiences, these unfortunate circumstances, especially with that sexual assault, get the best of me. I'm gonna, paraphrasing, grab life by the horns, and I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna enjoy living life. I'm not gonna continue to, be in the shadows and willow away and just die somewhere in the corner. So it was great hearing her nice little comeback story and everything, as that had pretty much set up Ice Cold taking on Candy Crush. Wasn't our opening match. It was actually the second match on the card, but I was looking forward to seeing Ice Cold in action because I know when we had saw her some weeks back, you're going, and you guys definitely remember what I had said on the respected episode too from a couple of weeks back. If you've been checking out all the post shows so far, I said something along the lines of, I really didn't get an opportunity to check out enough. I haven't seen enough footage of Ice Cold just yet to really be able to give a really good assessment on, what I think of her and everything. I need to see, because what I basically got introduced to was an appetizer. I need to see a fucking nice big old sample. I need more than just an appetizer. I need like an entree. And what we got this week against Candy Crush was definitely an entree. I won't say it was a meal. It was definitely an entree. Sorry for the food analogies, but that's what I'm running with right now. So work with me, folks. But yeah, Ice Cold against Candy Crush. Ice Cold, we definitely saw a little bit more of an offense from her. And I would say she's pretty good. She's actually pretty good. Of the newcomers on the WoW roster so far, Ice Cold seems to have all the basic fundamentals down and then some. I thought she held herself up pretty good against Candy Crush. I thought it's been a nice mix up so far since WoW has been back, that they've had these new WoW heroes mix it up with some of the veterans, and then they're mixing it up with each other, newbie versus newbie. So I'm kind of liking the nice little blend that we got going on here and everything. Closing moments of the match between Ice Cold and Candy Crush. Ice Cold had missed a moonsault from the top rope. And as a result of that, Candy Crush was able to go in there with the strikes. I remember she had connected with a pretty good, well placed back elbow strike or two, and then just knocked Ice Cold out cold. I can't believe I actually did that there, right? But it was a knockout with a right hand and picked up the 3 count that way. You're just going. Now, see, this is what I can't help but wonder. And I am very curious if this is going to play out during this season. But I would love to see some type of an angle come about where maybe, just maybe, as I'm picturing who would be the perfect antagonist for this. I don't know if maybe it would be Adriana Gambino, or if maybe it would be someone. See, it's got to be someone that we can all be in agreement. Oh, yeah, hands down, they would definitely go right to Sofia Lopez about this one. And Coach Campanelli almost kind of fits this to the T, right? But I would love to see a scenario go down where Candy Crush, right? She's picking up a couple of W's here and there. She's got a nice little win streak going. It doesn't have to be a ridiculous hot streak, but if she was able to maybe string together 3, maybe 4 victories, I would love to see one of those opponents who she defeats do some type of crying of foul, try to get David Mclean in them. Hey, this girl used her fists, and because she's a former boxer and everything, hey, man, those are deadly weapons. She shouldn't be allowed to use those here in WoW. And I would love to see that antagonist go so far up as to reach out to Sofia Lopez, and they somehow are able to get some paperwork, right? So now, when you're picturing the roster and you're just thinking about all the girls that we've been introduced to so far, right? Even being familiarized again with some of the veterans, you can't help but just look at that roster. Yeah, could a Adriana Gambino go that direction, or maybe it's a Coach Campanelli? I could even see, under the right circumstances, Lana Starr doing some cruddy stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think about that. But that definitely stands out to me there. I'm very, very curious. Our opening match of the night, we had saw some tag team action. This was our tournament continuation that was going on here. Remember, we got a tournament still to try to crown some new WoW Women Tag Team Champions. Holiday, man, great seeing Holiday. I just wasn't sure if she was going to be part of this new season. I got to be perfectly honest with you, because I remember one of the first times we had saw Siren the Voodoo Doll, we actually saw her with Chainsaw. And if you guys remember on that episode, I had said, yo, we need some type of a continuation, some type of nod to the lost episodes there, because we all had saw what was going on with Siren, Holodead, Princess Aussie, and when they were feuding with the Heavy Metal Sisters, back then known as the Psycho Sisters and everything. And I said on that episode a couple of weeks back, what's going on with Holodead? Is this? It's interesting because I've been looking at the women's roster for a while on their site and everything, and it never clicked in my head, dude. You know how many times you've scrolled past Holodead's profile? But for some reason, it just was not registering. So to actually see her on this episode, I was delighted. I'm going, hey, all right, Holodead is back. And as some of you guys know, Holodead was tearing it up in Ring of Honor these past several months, even going back to last year. 'Cause I remember she had entered the Women of Honor tournament, did she not? She tried to crown a new Ring of Honor Women's Champion and all that. I remember she had entered that. I remember she's also been doing some stuff in AEW and everything. So a lot of good stuff that was going on there with Holodead. So Holodead teaming up with Chainsaw to take on the Miami Sweet Heat, Lori and Lindsay Carlson. And again, it's a continuation of our tournament. Holodead and Chainsaw lost to the Sweet Miami Heat. So they have been eliminated as Miami Sweet Heat advances. The Twins, I'm telling you what I tell you guys some weeks back. I say, the Twins, they could go all the way, And the way it's looking right now, mark it down. I wish there was like some type of a booking odds spread joint that you could do for WoW and go to DraftKings or something. But I just have this feeling that if not in the semifinals, the finals, it's going to be the Sweet Miami Heat. I be wanting to say Miami Heat so bad, by the way. I got to catch myself. I don't know if you guys have been noticing that a couple of weeks now. But I can see it being Sweet Miami Heat versus the Tonga Twins. That's going to be one banger-ass match. And I think all roads seem to be going in that direction. I don't know if you guys are picking up that same vibe, but that's the vibe I'm definitely getting. By the way, for those of you that's just now tuning in, make sure you stick around because in a little bit you're going to see my sit-down interview with Jessie Jones of WoW Women of Wrestling. We got that coming up as soon as we get done banging out the rest of fallout from this week's WoW. So let's keep rocking and rolling. Next up, got a nice little tease of next week's episode. Next week, we were talking about vignettes, little featurettes and everything. Was given a nice nod there to Ice Cold and Mccoa. Well, next week, we're going to get a featurette on Coach Campanelli. So that should be pretty interesting. Meanwhile, Razor, Mesmeriah, Fury in the house going up against Vivian Rivera, Keita Rush, and Steffi Slays. More on that match in just a hot second. I want to go back one more time because there was something that was really interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we already don't tease the next match, how about I save it at the end? Don't worry, I won't forget. All right, so Razor, Mesmeriah, Fury, the Heavy Metal Sisters, going up against Vivian Rivera, Keita Rush, Steffi Slays. I gotta tell you, Vivian Rivera being put in between the Bully Busters there, doing that little bit of an expansion, making Rivera an honorary member, at least for this match. I thought that was a very nice touch. I thought she complimented the hell out of Keita and Steffi extremely well. But for me, what was really the major takeaway from this tag match was Fury. Definitely, I gotta give some love to Razor as well. I love Razor. Sarah the Rebel, I love that girl. She is awesome as shit. If you have social media, particularly Twitter, and you want to just, if you're looking for somebody that will, interact with you, they're actually posting some really fun, interesting, quirky little things. Definitely Razor on her personal Twitter account, which is Sarah the Rebel. Not so much the WoW joint, because her WoW Razor account, that's just pretty much all about promoting WoW and all that. But if you go on her Sarah the Rebel account, You guys know usually we like to do like some year end awards. Well, I'll mention, hey, as far as like I'll do a category of, hey, most coolest person to interact with on social media. Like that's actually a wrestler or whatever. And I've given some nods to a few people here and there. But Razor, Sarah the Rebel, she's definitely cool as shit. So, just you don't have to go goo goo gaga when you get a reply back or anything. Like just treat them like just regular people. They got feelings, they got emotions and all that, just like you do. Just treat them like regular people. Put that respect out there, comes right back 10 times fold, right? But Fury really stood out to me because, god damn, like, I've been seeing this woman wrestle before my eyes for just a small bite size of years now, but enough to go, man, not only does she have a great fucking look, but man, if you are just any independent wrestling promotion and you're trying to do something with your women's division and all that, you could definitely build it around her and everything. And to the point, it was so refreshing to hear AJ Lee on commentary this week say, hey, there's just something about Fury that, because David Mclean and them, they basically gave her the ball. Hey, you were talking about how much you love Fury. Could you expand your thought? Why on that? And I love how AJ kind of following up to something we had noted a couple of weeks ago and everything, how Fury just, has this unique, badass type of look about her. And I think that for those of us veteran wrestling fans, and, we know our women, we know our guys in the various promotions they're working in, we've seen enough of a good sample on Fury to go out of the heavy metal sisters slash psycho sisters. Fury is definitely the most, what's the right word? What's the right word? She is the most, I don't want to say experienced, but I almost want to do, right? Because if you had to rank them, and I really hate ranking because I don't want one person to feel bad, and right, I hate ranking. I really, really do. But if we're gonna do an eye test, right? I think we all could be in agreement that, oh yeah, Fury, just with the eye test, yes, Fury in the ring. Oh, fuck yeah, yes. Number two, you're going, oh, Razor, hands down. And Razor, to her credit, she's actually gotten better. I actually got to give her mad props. Not that there was anything wrong with her wrestling before in the previous years that I've been watching her, and wow, it's just her mat game, the psychology, all that has gotten better over time. But Razor is just leaps and light years. She has really, really, and when you go back and you watch this, because I know right now on the YouTube channel they have yet to make this episode be available. And after all, it just premiered. So you got to wait about, as I've been telling you guys, wait about 2-3 days. Then it's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel. Now, something interesting that they did do, and I had saw this right before I came on live, and that's the fact that if you go on the WoW Superheroes YouTube channel, I believe it is the first episode from weeks back, the season premiere of WoW. They have the full episode in its entirety on their channel. BS you not. So if some of those clip breakdowns where you were only watching one full length match here and then another one there, you're like, I really want to be able to sit down and really take in the entire episode. Well, now you're getting it, and I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine as far as how they're going to be rolling these out. If this is going to be a weekly type of deal till they get caught up, or, your guess is as good as mine. The best thing we all can do at this point is just make a mental note when we're seeing these full-length episodes drop on the YouTube channel and compare to, okay, yeah, this episode initially premiered on, right? That's really the best way that we can pretty much do it and everything. But yeah, Fury definitely, when you guys get a chance to watch this match, you're going to be nodding your head looking at Fury going, yeah, this girl. Now, one thing that I did not like about this match, and it actually had nothing to do with the participants, I didn't like the weird, for the most part when it comes to WoW, I love their camera angles. I love everything from a production value, especially when they're homing in on the vignettes and everything. But what I had an issue with this go round, and this episode, it was the way that it was edited. Normally you have some pretty good transitions, with the in-ring action, but there was a couple of times throughout this episode where I felt, wow, you took a big chunk out, and it's pretty obvious because the way it just, right, 1 minute you're going like, 1 minute you're throwing your hands up in the air, but then the next minute you're down on the ground. And you're like, wait a minute, we're missing the whole sequence. What happened leading up to that, right? And to the point, I remember the finish towards the end of this match, and it was so weird because you see Mesmeriah, she's outside the ring, and you're going, wait a minute, is she doing something? Is she running some type of interference or and the next thing you know, by the time you cut back into the ring, the match is over and Fury, I'm trying to remember who she pinned. I want to say maybe it was, I'd have to see the leg. I believe the person she pinned, if it wasn't Steffi Slays, it was Vivian Rivera, because I remember she was doing like a rocking of the guitar strings when she was going for the pin. But I just remember going, wait a minute, we missed something in there because we didn't even see what Fury did to whoever it was that she just pinned. Seems that Mesmeriah did something, but we don't know exactly what. And then even when they went back and they showed you the replay, you're thinking, okay, well, the replays, they're going to save us. They're going to bail us out. And the replays didn't show you what all had happened. So you're going, oh, well, that freaking sucks, right? Now, that might have been a negative thing that I said about from a production value standpoint, but can I give praise for a production value standpoint? From a production value standpoint, this is the thought I had earlier, and I said I was going to bring that up. Just stay with me. I was going to forget. Go back to that first match, and you guys will see this eventually when they make it available. But the match I'm talking about, peep this out: Holiday and Chainsaw versus Sweet Miami Heat. Make sure you pay attention to that because I loved how they did this unique camera angle where they went over to AJ and David Mclean. And it was such a nice kind of intimate look. It just kind of felt as though you were stumbling upon a conversation they were having as opposed to what you normally see if you're watching any of the commentating stuff, the angles that you get when you're watching the SmackDown team or you're watching the Raw team or the NXT team. That camera is so pretty, right? The camera's just right there, dead center, right? Whereas AEW, they kind of give you a nice, what is it? Would you describe that maybe as a 180 angle that they kind of give you there? Kind of, off to the side, kind of doing that. But this camera angle that they had gave on AJ and Mclean, it really kind of felt as though you were watching something perhaps that was cinematic, something that was maybe part of a movie, or that was you're really not supposed to see this. You're not supposed to be listening. That's how it felt. Felt like you had a bird's eye view, to my point. And they continued that brilliantly throughout that opening match because they also had a really good camera angle shot where it kind of felt as though you were watching the match in between the ropes from maybe a fan's perspective, like from over their shoulders, and you're kind of going in that way, especially when they did a nice good zoom in on Siren the Voodoo Doll, who was at ringside and everything. Love that. They even did a couple of times during this match. They didn't. That's the thing. They really didn't play around with the camera angles I'm talking about throughout the whole episode. But when they were doing some experimental angles, you definitely noticed it. And one other camera angle that they had did that I just thought, wow, that's actually a pretty damn good angle. I don't know what they're using, a freaking GoPro to go in there or what, but they had one angle where you were looking at the in-ring action from the ground up. I know that's kind of hard to visualize, but when you do get a chance to see this match, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Awesome shit. Awesome shit. So high praise to the production team. Nobody does it better. I'm telling you, nobody does it better. So, yeah, Heavy Metal Sisters advance. You know, I almost kind of wonder who's going to be the trio, or are we officially seeing the beginning act of the Heavy Metal Sisters and the Bully Busters there with Vivian Rivera? This may be something that's going to continue to play out over the course of the next couple of episodes. I mean, if so, I'm definitely down. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely down. I don't mind seeing that. I wouldn't mind banging my head with the Heavy Metal Sisters, though, man. I mean, they seem like they're going to have a good freaking rocking good time and everything. Main event match, Penelope Pink taking on Leah Mccoa. And David Mclean revealed some very interesting news right here. Apparently, whoever was going to win this match, we're going to get one step closer, apparently, to getting a shot against Beast for the Wild Women's Championship. So you're hearing that and you're going, wow. Well, wait a minute. What does this mean for De La Renta? What does it mean for girls like her, right? Because she's pretty much saying, yo, you know why I'm here. You know what I'm about. I want that championship opportunity. I want to take that title away from Beast, like nobody else, right? I got dibs. So you're hearing all that and you're going, you know, what the hell and everything. But Penelope Pink taking on Mccoa. I love this one. This was damn freaking good. I was a little bit concerned, man, because I'm going, okay, we got these two girls. They are still relatively new to us, and yet we've already got them facing one another. Because when you saw Penelope Pink in her in-ring debut, you're going, God damn, this girl could actually, she's got mad freaking, what did I say last week or whenever it was? I said, she got mad swag. She is just dripping charisma. She got some spunk to her. Yo, this girl can definitely, she could go all the way. That was my whole damn point. But then you're looking at Mccoa and you're going, yo, I don't know, man. Like she's got the look. She's got the look too, right? So this soon to see these two girls go at it, I was a little bit conflicted here. I gotta say, because I just felt it was a little too soon seeing these two girls go at it. I kind of felt that maybe we should kind of keep these two separated for as long as humanly possible until eventually they lock it up and everything. But no, they just went on ahead. They did this. These girls did good. These girls did good. This match was definitely worthy of being in the main event spot and everything. I think that it was surprising to see Mccoa pick up the W, but at the same time, if you guys recall, there was a match that Mccoa lost, and I remember being here on the show saying to you guys, yo, I don't really think that was the right call. I believe she lost them. You know what? I'm thinking about it. I want to say before the end of this episode, I want to say David Mclean actually said that Mccoa is still undefeated. So I would have to actually check that. I don't want to do it right now because we got to get ready to go into the interview we're going to show you guys with Jessie Jones and everything. But that's something I'll have to research and then we can follow up. And then what I can do for you guys on the next episode, next weekend, I'll make a note of the win-loss records from here on out. That way we're all definitely caught up to speed. We know who's where and all that good stuff. I'll keep better track of that. I promise you guys. But yeah, I felt, well, on the one hand, I thought Pink should have got it because all she's had so far is one win under her belt. and, and now we're giving her her first defeat. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I actually would have preferred it if there would have been some type of shenanigans outside the ring there caused by Lana Starr that resulted in her client Penelope Pink pick up the W and everything. But in defense of that picking of having Mccoa go over, you could also look at it from the standpoint of what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, which is, hey, I would love to see a story arc where Lana Starr, she thinks she's going to be able, once she feels she's not going to have it her way, and she thinks she can just kick a homegirl to the curb, right? We've seen her do it with Faith the Lioness, aka Nikita Lyons, right? Just go down the list. We have seen her do it time and time and time and time again. Could it be Penelope Ford that, no, honey, you mess with the wrong girl, right? No way, no how. You mess with the wrong girl on this one. And it comes back to, right, rear its ugly head, especially if it's done in such a way where Penelope Pink just freaking snaps and just physically destroys the hell out of Lana Starr. Would that mean Lana Starr would become a sympathetic figure, or would fans go, no, she definitely got what was coming to her? Good riddance, right? To be continued. So if that's the narrative that you're eventually trying to tell, right, then you can make an argument that what they did in having Mccoa go over Pink, right? Gotta wait and see. Gotta wait and see how it plays out. But good episode. Good episode of Wow Women of Wrestling this week, for sure. For sure. Again, standout. As far as standout of the in-ring action goes for this week's episode, I really got to give high marks to that 6-woman tag match there between the Heavy Metal Sisters and the Bully Busters. I really got to give a nod to that. Definitely got to give a nod to Mccoa taking on Pink. That actually was pretty damn good as well. Yeah, and I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna say those were the main honorable mention. Just seeing Holla did back, because she's Holla did. She's fucking badass, right? So, hey, you guys been enjoying yourself so far? If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button so you never miss out on future content that comes your way right here on a weekly basis. Subscribe, all that good jazz. Like, follow, click the bell. So, all that, smash, like, grab, take, right? Whip it, all that crazy little shenanigans. All right. So, we're going to get into the Jessie Jones interview. We're going to get ready to play that for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoy this. If you want to maybe disconnect at this point, you can go ahead and disconnect. But everybody else, you physically are going to be able to see myself and Jessie Jones just going back and forth with one another. We did this on Friday. This past Friday. And it was awesome. I got to say, I was pretty nervous going into it. And, my wife will tell you, very seldom do I get nervous when it comes to interviewing folks. And she knows that normally when I get very nervous, I am just fumbling at the words. I am stuttering like mad freaking crazy. And that is because I'm a little bit, it's not starstruck. It's just the fan in me kind of comes out a little bit. So, and in this particular case, because I've been checking out the work of Jessie Jones, aka Jessie Bell, for such a long time, she's absolutely one of my favorites and everything. I also have a crush on her. I think she's awesome. And my wife, she's like, oh, yeah, because she asked me, she said, how'd the interview go? I said, it went good, but, I got nervous. And she's like, oh, no. She's like, don't tell me you were flubbering all over the place. I said, no. I did better. She said, okay, all right, good. And she does a really good Jessie Jones impersonation because, Jessie has that nice country twang that's going on. and everything. But no, it was good. We talked all things wow. Talked a little California, all kinds of good stuff in there. But don't take my word for it. I want you guys to go ahead, kick on back, and check this out. Let's go ahead and play this for you guys right now. Once again, I'm going to play this. If you guys want to disconnect, go ahead. Everybody else, enjoy it. Programming note, I will be back on the air with you guys this Monday night. Pencil in Monday night. It really depends, but Monday night, October 18th, 2022, after WWE Raw goes off the air on the East Coast. I believe I'll be live with you all again. I am tied up with a couple of side projects, so I don't really know. Kind of running the midnight oil. I don't really know if I'll be airing Monday, but tentatively, everybody, tentatively, let's say this Monday night, okay? And that's going to do it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, use keywords, the RCWR show. Here you are, the conversation I had with Jessie Jones. Enjoy, y'all. All right, so we are joined along with Jessie Jones of Wild Women of Wrestling. Jessie, how you doing? Thank you for taking the time out to do this.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So we got a couple of weeks in the books now of new episodes of Wild Women of Wrestling back on the air and syndication. A lot of fans didn't think this moment would come, as it's been at least a 2-year hiatus, give or take. Did you ever think this day would come? I know for a lot of fans, there was uncertainty.
I knew it was coming. The whole world shut down for 2 years. Y'all gonna be like, "Whoa, wow, shut down?" No, the whole entire world shut down. The world opened back up, and boom, wow's back.
Right. Yeah, right. I know, right? So you've had an opportunity now to work with the lovely AJ Mendez Brooks for a while. She wears so many hats, as we all came to know from the press release and everything. But what's it been like for you to collaborate with her? Overall, what does her contributions mean to you and the women of WoW?
I think I can speak for everybody when I say that we are eternally grateful to have AJ Lee or AJ in our in our locker room. Yeah, it's for someone who has done so much to come in and help women like me who have a decent amount of experience to other girls who this might be their first go at wrestling. Like, there's so much knowledge to be absorbed there, and she's just awesome and very passionate about it. It's blessed is all I can say.
Right on. And then what has it been like for you working and getting to know some of the new girls of WoW? Because for veterans like myself, especially those lost episodes, we were introduced to quite a few new people during those lost episodes. But you guys this new season have done a really good job, including yourself, bringing back some old favorites and then mixing in some new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like. I'm trying to think of like the answer, like the question that I enjoy working with new girls. I enjoy I just love everything about wrestling and the people involved in it. It's like, so like whether they're new, and got 6 months in, 6 years or 16 years, like I love being around women in wrestling because there's always something to learn. Like, I learn stuff from like even the newer girls. You know what I mean? You never stop learning in wrestling, and to have a locker room full of women who have the same main goal and ambition and passion, it's awesome.
So far, since I've been checking out the new season, the girls that have stood out to me as far as newcomers, and it's mainly because they're from right here in Washington, D.C., so I got to show them some love. Foxy Fierce and Commander Spars, I've instantly become a favorite of theirs. Who's some of the girls that you feel fans, if they've been sleeping on them so far, they should really start paying attention to as the season progresses?
Man, I can't name just a couple. Like these girls that have come in, they're all so unique. They all have so many different backgrounds, different stories. You know, you've got Candy Crush, who was like an Olympian, you know, and a boxer and all this stuff. I mean, Foxy Fierce is insanely athletic and has come up very, very fast. You shouldn't sleep on any of these girls, because all of these girls are superheroes and going to be superstars and household names. I would put money on it within like a very short period of time. As soon as everybody knows, it's going to be, yeah. I'm still bewildered. You know, it's so crazy to start off like, I started wrestling in a little, like literally the Memphis, Indiana flea market is where I had my first match. And I think there was 30 people there. And to go from that, you know, over, you know, 17 years being involved in wrestling, from managing to in ring, it's still surreal. Like, you couldn't have told 12-year-old me, who was watching the Monday Night Wars and stuff, screaming her head off for like Stone Cold or Mankind. If you told me, hey, you're going to do that one day, you're actually going to be on TV and you're going to meet all these people, I would have been like, shut up, get out of here. And it's crazy. The girls here, you want to watch all of them, because you're going to be like, where have they been? Why haven't I seen them? Like, where did these girls come from? It's like, that's what fans are going to be saying. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to see this show. And even if it's for the first time, you're going to be like, how do I not know this Foxy Fierce? Have you seen Candy Crush? Oh my God, Ice Cold. You know, there's something and someone on the show that anybody and everybody can relate to.
I agree with that 100%. And it's funny you mentioned about the career that you've had, because I definitely have been following some of your work off and on for some years, almost as long as I've been on the air, actually, now that I think about it. And you've had an incredible journey, to a point that one of our listeners had made. It was a question and a compliment. I was going to get into it much later on, but it's a nice transition so far, from Anthony Mazzano on YouTube. He had said, I guess it's more of a compliment than a question. He said that you remind him so much of Mickey James, and
Wow.
he's wondering when, if ever, we might see you do a little something with some other promotions out there. He's thinking of the bigger ones. I don't know if you want to answer
To
that,
me,
but
there isn't anything bigger
I,
than
I,
WoW. That's it. That's all. Like, that's it. You know, I've, I like you said, yeah, I've been around for a long, long time, and I've, you know, I know and have worked for or been behind the scenes or done something for just about anybody, and WoW is wow compared to everything else. Wow. Okay, like, it's for women, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to aspire to be. If I was a girl, uh if I could reverse time and go back to when I first stepped ringside in 2005, and WoW was around then, like it is now, like, that would have been my goal, just on the show alone, and how they highlight the, you know, it's women. You know, when I was starting to wrestle and train and stuff like that, other companies didn't they didn't really have women's wrestling. They had women on the show, but they weren't really wrestling. They weren't given time to wrestle, and they were more of like a popcorn match, which matches, the TV time they were given wasn't even as long as it takes to cook a bag of popcorn, you know, like, going back. So I think that WoW is the big stage for women who want to be in wrestling.
to your point, what does it mean to you personally, definitely professionally, to have such a great boss in David Mclean, who, to your point, he's been one of the original spearheads of women's wrestling for such a long time, longer before those other promotions, those major 3 or 4, made it a trend?
Yeah, David has been an advocate for women's wrestling forever, like ever since, you know, Glow. And and the fact that he has someone as amazing as, now Jeannie Buss, when she joined in, that's when it was really like women empowerment and like, and started getting a lot of attention, like started turning heads. I'm like, everybody was like, wait a minute, Jeannie Buss is involved with David Mclean. What are they doing? They've got all these girls. They're doing an all women wrestling show. Is that going to work? Can the girls do this? Yes. Yeah, we can.
Awesome. Hey, you guys been doing a great job at it so far. I love everything that you guys have been doing. Can you talk to me and educate the fans a little bit on how this Make Wrestling Great Again gimmick came about? Because I think it's one of the most killer freaking things going on right now and has been for a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, I am a huge fan of old school wrestling. Like not since I was a kid. I don't watch anything recent. Like if you want to ask me what wrestling I'm watching ECW, I'm watching WCW, I'm watching like NWWA, I'm watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I'm like, I enjoy the older wrestling because I think, it was also much harder to get into and stuff like that. So the Make Wrestling Great Again is kind of like, I want wrestling to go away and go back to like it was in the time of Dusty Rhodes, in the time of Roddy Piper. Like I want that old school wrestling back, and not just a whole bunch of girls who, I think at the time, like there was a lot of major companies hiring MMA fighters or Sports Illustrated models or, stuff like that. And they're like, hey, let's teach these people how to do a little bit of stuff and give them 2 minutes on TV to look hot. And I'm like, no, I don't like that. I don't like the flippy doos. I want everybody to respect wrestling, respect what goes into it, respect the dues that are paid by girls like me. I want to make wrestling great again. So that's where the whole like Make Wrestling Great Again is, like, make it back to like it was in the old days,
Yeah. Awesome. And Anthony from earlier, there's his part 2 question. I already know the answer to this because I got an idea, and maybe you can back me up on this during the Lost episodes. But his question: can the Jessie Jones character ever work as a baby face? Why or why not?
I figure if I want to be nice, I can be nice. And if I don't, I won't. Y'all stick me out there in California. I'm from Kentucky. I don't fit in. I'm in a bad mood. Buffets or anything like that. I'm grumpy out there in California. And then as soon as I open my mouth and start talking, people automatically assume, oh, this girl's dumb or she's a redneck. Yeah, I'm a redneck, but they have like a bad portrayal of a redneck. Being a redneck's great where I'm from. We're completely self-sufficient. If we went to Armageddon, I'd go out in the woods and I'd be able to hunt. I'd be able to fish. I could grow my own garden. I'd be all right. So like you put me in a place like California, I'm going to be grumpy. I'm probably going to be in a bad mood and I'm going to be mean to people. But if you maybe Wild starts traveling and we come out to Kentucky, I'm going to be happy to be around my friends. So I'll be a little bit nicer.
I think you know what? I lived in California for a little bit and I was pretty grumpy, actually. I wanted to go home, so I can relate.
Like, how Katy Perry says that I know a place where the grass is truly greener, and then she starts talking about California. And I'm like, they ain't got no grass out there. It's all dirt and astroturf, and they ain't got no trees. Like, they got shrubs and cactuses. Like the whole you drive down and you see these beautiful mountains, or you can see the outline of beautiful mountains covered in smog. Of course, I'm in a bad mood. I want clean air and trees and nice scenery instead of dirt and death.
I'm reminded of the song that was pretty popular at the time when I first moved to California. I don't know if you're familiar with the band, but it was an act called Tony, Tony, Tony. And the hit song back in the day was It Never Rains in Southern California. And I remember the day we arrived in California, me and my family, it rained. Like, well, that was a lie. It's like, that was a lie.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I actually moved out to California for a few months to go and train in 2018 in like January. And when I say from like January to March, it rained or drizzled at least a little bit every single day. It did. And I was like, I thought that it didn't rain in California. And then I started chuckling. My friend's like, what is it? And I'm like, California hates me so much. It's crying.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I got a Facebook question from you for you from Noe Laura, who wants to know if you have one, what would be your dream match? And on a non-wrestling related note,
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the
sure,
question?
sure,
Like a
that's
call
okay.
came in and
Noe via Facebook. He wants to know if you have one, what would be your dream match? And on a wrestling related note, what's your favorite fast food place?
dream match. I mean, there's a lot of like phenomenally talented women that I would like to wrestle. I'd probably say Natalia or Sarah Del Rey.
Ooh,
Like I was actually supposed to have a match with Sarah Del Rey, and then she got brought in to be a trainer, so it got canceled and wasn't able to happen. Um, so probably that, and then the second part of the question, favorite fast food restaurant. Uh, I ain't big on fast food. If I'm desperate, like driving the roads and coming back from like a wrestling show and it's like 1 a.m. and there's like nothing else to eat, I'd probably say I'd get a roast beef sandwich on a star bun from Arby's. But like Arby's or Subway is really the only fast food that I will eat, and it has to be I'm out of my tuna or baked chicken and sweet potatoes and food that I carry with me, and so that's why I get it. I try to eat healthy.
awesome, awesome. And other than that, Jesse, can you let the good fans know if they haven't already jumped on the bandwagon, why they need to check out Wild Women of Wrestling?
They need to check out Wow Women of Wrestling because it is a family friendly, just fun, all around entertaining show. These girls and these women come from so many different backgrounds, so many different places. And not only are you getting to see the show and you're getting to see the wrestling, but you are getting to hear like the road that these girls have traveled to get there and their life, and you can relate with them. There's somebody on the show that everybody can relate to. So and it basically shows you that like you can do anything, not just women, but yes, as a woman you can do anything. But if even if you're not a wrestling fan, you're going to enjoy this show because it has athleticism, it has, drama and storyline and stuff like that. And it's just I think it's just great. It's entertaining, it's athletic, it's amazing.
Definitely, definitely amazing. Folks, to find out if Wild Women of Wrestling is available in your respected neck of the woods, please check your local listings as new episodes drop on the weekends, Saturdays, depending on where you are. The beautiful and the lovely Jessie Jones. Jessie, thank you so much for taking the time out to do this. It means a lot for us and our fan base.
Thank you for having me, Lee.